Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bud Rudy. Tonight, we investigate one of the strangest family traditions in mythological history. Ancient Greek mythology claims that long before the Olympian gods ruled from Mount Olympus, the universe was controlled by a powerful race known as the Titans. The ruler of the Titans was Cronus, a powerful figure who heard a troubling prophecy. One day, one of his own children would overthrow him. Cronus adopted what historians might politely call a preventative parenting strategy. And let's just say, it was far worse than throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Determined to prevent the prophecy from coming true, the stories say Cronus began swallowing each of his newborn children the moment they were born. Now that's what historians might call food for thought. But Cronus' wife Rhea eventually decided it was time to intervene before the entire family tree disappeared. So when her next child was born, Rhea devised a clever deception. She wrapped a stone in a baby blanket and presented it to Cronus instead. If the ancient Greeks spoke Spanish, perhaps they would say, "Cómo se llama drama?" Hidden away in a cave by his mother, the young Zeus grew up in secret, eventually becoming mythology's most famous mama's boy, and apparently never finding time for a haircut. Eventually, the young Zeus returned to confront his father, and with the help of a little mythological medicine, something historians might compare to a rather heroic dose of ipecac, persuaded Cronus to give back Zeus's older siblings. One by one, they were returned, the exact opposite of a family dinner. Or perhaps the very unfortunate ending of one. Titans had ruled the universe for ages. But suddenly, a younger generation of gods had other ideas.
I think we can take these guys.
I heard they are dumber than rocks, and sometimes they even eat them.
You know what they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
And just like that, the stage was set for one of mythology's most spectacular family feuds.
Let's get ready to rumble!
These guys are huge.
I'll bet they each have their own area code.
Let's try lightning first, and if that doesn't work, call 911.
After years of battle, the Olympian gods finally defeated the Titans, and the universe was divided among three brothers. Zeus ruled the sky, Poseidon ruled the seas, and Hades ruled the underworld. But that raises an interesting question. What do these gods themselves have to say about all this? Inquiring historians want to know. Zeus, king of the Olympian gods, thank you for agreeing to speak with us today.
You're welcome, Bud Rudy. Few mortals make the journey to Olympus. Even fewer arrive in one piece.
Spent your childhood hidden away in a cave, raised in secrecy, plotting the downfall of a tyrant. I have to ask, were you preparing to overthrow Cronus, or auditioning to become mythology's first Batman?
Batman has gadgets. I have lightning.
Now, Zeus, we should probably revisit one of the more unusual moments in your family history, when your mother Rhea tricked your father Cronus into swallowing a stone instead of you.
It raises a fascinating question. How exactly does one digest a stone like that? And more importantly, is that how the first load of gravel was created?
Let us simply say, my father was never properly taught to chew his food. Titans were powerful, but not always observant. And as it turns out, geology is not easily digested.
Zeus, you're widely known as the god of thunder, but for the sake of journalism, I have to ask, do the storms actually listen to you?
The storm answers my call. Let the skies remember who rules them.
Well, I'm certainly glad I don't have to pay this guy's electricity bill.
Well, glad we cleared that up. Zeus, you're the youngest of your siblings.
Yet somehow you ended up running the entire operation here on Olympus. So, how exactly did the baby of the family become the boss?
We drew lots. I received the sky. Poseidon took the sea, and Hades the underworld.
So the fate of the entire universe came down to what amounts to a cosmic roll of the dice. I've heard of divide and conquer, but never divine and conquer.
Well, since I'm a chain smoker and a pyromaniac, you guys already know where I want to go.
We all know that Mom liked me best, because she did not let our daddy eat me. Therefore, I am the obvious choice to be the head honcho of the entire Olympian realm. Plus, I really want to manage the electrical power grid. I will implement all kinds of clean energy rebates and incentives.
I hope I win the ocean domain. There are so many gorgeous, lonely mermaids available in those deep seas. Anyone up or down for a little offshore drilling?
Let fate decide the realms, brothers.
May the seas be kind.
And the depths be just. The sky is mine, then.
Brings us to your brother Poseidon, who apparently won the oceans in this celestial raffle.
If the deep secrets of the sea interest you, reporter, then you should seek out my brother Poseidon.
Is there an echo up here?
Up and away!
It appears our investigation has taken us into somewhat deeper waters. And if my calculations are correct, the next stop should be the domain of Poseidon, ruler of the seas. I wonder if Mary Poppins has noticed that a magical umbrella is missing yet.
Well, the parking situation here is somewhat limited.
Well, would you get a look at this guy?
Poseidon, ruler of the oceans. Thank you for agreeing to speak with us. Scholars have long claimed that dolphins possess remarkable intelligence. Some even suggest they understand the ocean better than we do. As Lord of the Seas, care to comment?
Well, have you met humans?
Your mother, Rhea, famously tricked Cronus by wrapping a stone in a blanket instead of baby Zeus. Question. Was Medusa ever considered as a backup plan to turn the baby into stone first?
We did consider Medusa for a moment, but family meetings become difficult when half the room might turn to stone. And frankly, if that had worked, I wouldn't be standing here with seaweed in my shorts every day. I'd be ruling Mount Olympus.
Well, cry me a river, or maybe even an ocean.
Ancient stories say you sometimes flooded entire cities when mortals angered you. Should we assume that was youthful temper, or simply a plumbing issue?
I prefer to think of it as decisive leadership. Though the physicians of Olympus were briefly concerned it might be incontinence.
Before we continue, I should remind our viewers of the recently enacted transparency law passed by the Council of Immortals. Therefore, I would now like to pose a few quick questions to Zeus and Hades without ever leaving this rocky perch.
I'm not a fan of this new transparency law.
I voted no on that stupid law twice. I'm schizophrenic and bipolar.
First question is for Zeus. Historians say you actually married your own sister. Care to comment?
Olympus is a very small neighborhood.
Hades. Historians say you carried Persephone off to the underworld. Would you describe that as romance or aggressive courtship?
It wasn't really an abduction. It was more of a shotgun wedding. Let's just say the negotiations were persuasive.
Finally, one more question for Zeus. Is it true the goddess Athena was born directly from your forehead?
Worst headache of my life.
So what have we learned from our journey to the mythical realm of Olympus? We've learned that the ancient Greeks possessed an extraordinarily vivid imagination, perhaps fueled by generous quantities of wine, and the occasional mushroom discovered beneath a pile of bovine excrement. Stories like these make it much easier to understand why the Greeks became such accomplished thespians. Needless to say, those ancient Greeks really knew how to throw a party, mostly in their own heads.
Well, there's a party going on here inside my head. It's a raging and a thumping like to raise the dead. All the people I invited have already arrived. They don't even have to drive, cause this is where they abide. Lots of smoking, lots of joking, and it's like a dream. Like a hot fudge sundae with too much ice cream. Someone should turn down the music before the neighbors get upset. But I got some news for them, they ain't seen nothing yet. Welcome to my humble abode. Dance till you drop it down that heavy load. If you feel like screaming, that'll be alright. Only I can hear you and can see your light. to my raging sea. Take what you need and lick your worries clean. Experience just how it feels to be exactly who you are with no envy